Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Creston. I am here with what I think is probably going to be my last video with you guys. I already recorded a video with my face, with my mask, showing you how to receive communion with your mask, how you take it down and when to do that. I really urge you to watch that, not only yourselves, but encourage your grown-ups and your siblings to also watch it, because not everybody knows how we're supposed to do all this yet, and there is a process, I would say, for how we're supposed to wear a mask and attend mass and get communion. So please make sure you watch that video. But in the meantime, our final video together is getting ready for communion. We're almost there. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take for us to get there, but here we are. We're within 2 weeks or 3 weeks if you have your communion on the 18th. So we are really almost there. So we've almost made it. What's left to do? So the last thing, I know you guys are, it's a lot. I'm asking a lot of you guys to be preparing for penance, and then for some of you, 3 days later to be ready for communion. So know that we all understand that this is not going to go perfect. You might not be sure what to say. You might not be sure how to hold your hands or how to do this, and that's okay. I don't want any nerves over that. That's, the grown-ups understand, the priests, the deacons, everybody knows. So we're going to do our best. I'm going to walk you through this in this video, and hopefully I'll cover all the bases. So let's dive in. So communion dates were given to your grown-ups. They are 3 masses. July 11th is a Saturday, July 12th is a Sunday, July 18th is a Saturday. All the masses are going to be at 11 o'clock in the morning, which is nice, no super early mornings. And what's important to know is those are our masses. We say we have like our parish mass, which means anybody who's part of our parish can come. These masses are just for us, which I've been here for 6 or 7 years. We've never had our very own communion mass. So you guys, this is kind of a cool special thing that we get to celebrate. Now, you are all spread across these 3 days. It was just kind of randomly assigned. So I will be at all 3 masses. July 11th, my son Jack, some of you guys know him, he's going to get his first Holy Communion. So that day I'll be a catechist, a teacher, and I'll be a mom. So it's going to be cool to get to be both of those things. But I will be there on the 12th and the 18th. So you'll see me with my mask. You'll know that I'm there. If you have questions before, you can ask me. We have to stay socially distant for the time being. So I can't hug you. I can't high five you. I hate that I can't get a big group picture, which I always do, but that's okay, right? We're going to make this work. We're going to do our best. So let's get a couple things squared away. So what to wear? Typically when we have our first Holy Communion, the ladies wear these beautiful white dresses and a veil, and the gentlemen wear these nice handsome suits. And I know that a lot of your grown-ups bought your dress or your suit before quarantine, which means I guess you guys have probably grown in the past 4 months. So your suit or your dress may not fit, and that's okay. We don't need your grown up to buy a new dress or a new suit. Well, I'm asking, and your grown up will know what this means. I'd like you to wear your Sunday best, they call it. So ladies, a dress, a skirt, dress pants. It doesn't have to be white, which normally we need it to be white, but it doesn't have to be white. If it is, awesome. If it's not, that's okay. Gentlemen, if you wear like a blazer or khakis, a button-down shirt, it doesn't have to be a super fancy suit. So that's what you're going to wear on your body. And remember, everybody has to wear a mask, right? Anybody over 2. So if you have like a baby brother or sister, they probably won't wear one, but everybody else is going to be wearing a mask. So that's going to be part of our dress code, we'll say. So when you come to mass that day, and remember, it's mass. It's not a ceremony. It's not a show. It's not any of those things. It's actual mass. So when you come, normally you would come to me in like parish hall and we kind of get together. We can't do that because we have to remain socially distanced. So I am going to have your names on cards, and they will be on the sides of the pew. Okay, and I'm going to try and send out to your grown-ups a grid so you'll kind of know where in the church you'll be. And I'm going to do it alphabetical order. So once you find your name, you're going to sit in that pew with your guests, and each of you is allowed 6 guests. So for my friends that are sitting on the left side of the church, which is the section that's all the way on the left by the tabernacle, or the middle left section, I want you to sit on the right side of the pew. So you're going to be sitting closest to the middle because that's where you're going to get your communion. And then if you're on the right side, so the side all the way over by where the choir would sing, or the middle right section, you're going to sit on the left, right? So you would be on the left or the right, and all your family or guests would sit beside you. So once you arrive, you're going to sit with your family and simply wait for Mass. So let's remember we're in Mass. Remember Mass manners. So we're prayerful, we're quiet, we're sitting on our bottoms, just kind of paying attention. And this is a huge day. So it's a good time to, like, I would sit and probably kind of say a little prayer to myself, just thanking God for getting us to this point and keeping us safe and getting us through this point in quarantine, and that we can finally have this day together. So that's what you're going to do when you arrive. And then, we'll kind of guide you through Mass. It's a regular old Mass. So let's talk about, like in the penance video, what's going to be the same as we prepared. So what will be the same is that it's at the same church it would have been at, St. Isaac Jogues. Your penance will be at St. John Newman, where we had our penance retreat. Our First Communion will be at St. Isaac Jogues. It will be a Mass. It will be a full Mass. That's the same. And your family will still be there, which is really great. And I'll be there. So you won't maybe see my smiling face because I'll have my mask on, but know that underneath I will be smiling big on my face and in my soul for you guys. My students, I always say, I love this day. I can't wait to see you guys dressed up and get your First Communion. So I will be smiling inside and out. And the most important thing that will be the same is you will get communion for the first time. We've been practicing, we've been preparing, you've been doing this at home, so that hasn't changed. So let's talk about what is going to be a little different. One thing that's different is you're going to sit with your family, and ordinarily you would sit with me or your catechist, okay? So you're going to be in the pew with your family, and another thing that's different is you're only going to have 6 guests. So there are, probably a lot of you would have had a full pew of family, right? Your godparents and your grandparents and your aunts and uncles and cousins, but we can't do that. Unfortunately, we can't because of social distancing and guidelines that we have to follow. So you're just going to have those 6 special people, but at least we have them, right? Another thing that's going to be different is that you're going to go right to your pew when you get to Mass, right? They say this word, congregate. Like, we can't hang out in the back and talk or chat or run around or any of that. We have to go right to our pew and sit. And we can't sit together, which I don't love. I look forward every year to that time, that hour of Mass, that when Father does the homily in the middle and he's talking, I get to see your faces and you raise your hands. He'll probably still do that, but you won't be with me. And then the obvious thing that's going to be very different for all of us is wearing a mask. And those of you who see me at the July 11th Mass, that's going to be my first time wearing a mask at church. I actually have not been back to Mass yet. So that's going to be a first for a lot of us. And we're all going to be in it together and get used to it together. And maybe it'd be a little uncomfortable when you watch my video on receiving communion with a mask. You'll see my face got all red from wearing it. And it's not always the most comfortable, but it's just something we have to do for now. All right, so moving along, receiving communion with a mask. I have already loaded the video of me. My hair's a mess, and you'll see my crazy house in the background, but I wanted you to see my face. I wanted you to see me do it with you, what it's going to look like, how it's going to feel, how to take your mask on and off, what's a great kind of mask to wear to be able to do that quickly and easily. So please watch that video. And I recommend that you watch it with your grown-up. Okay, so what to expect. We will be following the same Mass order that we would ordinarily follow when we go to Mass. So think back, put your thinking caps on back to like early in the year. And we were kind of talking about this. I know my Sunday class was, probably all the classes. Remember, we talked about the introductory rites, and we talked about the liturgy of the Word and the liturgy of the Eucharist. So that Mass order will be the same as what we discussed early in the year. So you may have some familiarity. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to talk about that as much as I maybe would have liked. But you guys kind of have the gist of how that is going to go. So if you have questions about that, if you want to review, let me know. leave me a comment and I will be sure to like give you a brush up. But I think really you can just kind of follow along your grown-ups and the priests and everything. So I think you'll be good there. There are the responses, which we didn't cover in a lot of detail, and I don't expect that you're going to necessarily know all of that. So just kind of do your best. And we didn't have any time for song practice because we weren't together. So there will be music. There are no missals. So normally you guys, when we went to the church, remember the books, the missals with the songs would be in the pews. They've removed those because we can't keep those clean. So, you know, you can kind of like hum along, or I'm going to listen if I don't know the songs, and that's okay. So follow along as we figure out how to sit, stand, and kneel, when to do each thing. We talked a little bit in class about why we do each one of those things and when we do each one of those things. So just pay attention to what everybody else is doing. And then the most important will be when it comes time for you to receive communion. So you'll be in your pew with your grown-ups. And a really cool thing that this is, again, something that we've never done before. Normally, you would be in the front of the church with me, and your grown-ups would be behind you, and they would kind of watch you go for communion. And it sometimes was hard for parents to see. What we're doing now is you're going to actually go up for communion with your family. You'll receive first, and they'll receive after you. So they'll actually be there standing with you as a family when you get to receive your first Holy Communion, which is really cool. So when it's your turn, someone will let your family know. I think there'll be ushers there, and they'll let you know that it's your turn, and you'll walk up, take your time, go up with prayerful hands, slowly make your way up to the front, and then you'll follow what you see in my video on how to receive communion with a mask. After your whole family has received communion, everybody that can, you'll put your mask back on, and you'll go back to your pew, and then you'll kneel. You'll be in the kneelers. And somebody asked about what prayer to say after communion. There's no one prescribed prayer that you're supposed to say after communion. I think that's a good time for you guys to have a little conversation. Say a prayer of thanks, right? Remember prayers of thanksgiving when we did our Acts types of prayers. And just say thank you that we got to this very special day. So after Mass ends, then what? So the literal kind of part of after Mass ends is that I think we're going to have to clear up pretty quickly, where we would normally have an opportunity to take pictures together and pictures with the priest. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I'm going to suggest to the grown-ups that you take your pictures outside of the church. There's a lot of really beautiful places outside of our church to take pictures with your family. I'm going to try to stick around outside so we could take a social distancing picture if you'd like to, if you're comfortable with that, but I'm not really sure how that's going to look. But the not so literal part of after Mass ends, then what, is that you guys will then, at that moment, you have all the tools you need as really graduated second graders, or pretty much third graders at this point, to receive your sacraments whenever you want. So remember that penance is at least once a year, but whenever you need it, and ask your grown-up. They are doing penance at this point, so you'll have just had it. You should probably be good for a while, but when you feel like you need it again, you're ready whenever you want. And then communion is something you can receive every week. This is an unusual time because right now we don't technically have to go to Mass every Saturday or Sunday, which is very unusual. I don't think it's ever happened in my life for this long. So your family may choose not to go back to Mass for some period of time until some of this virus scare passes. So that's okay if your family decides that you're not going to be going back for communion. But just stay ready, because when the churches open up more fully, you're ready to receive every Saturday or Sunday as often as you go to Mass. So that's really what you should be doing to prep, where with penance, you have to be memorizing your prayers and kind of doing a little more prep work. For communion, there's a little less prep other than just thinking about it and being prepared for it. Watching this video, make sure you watch the video on how to receive communion with a mask. And I encourage, again, have your grown-ups watch it with you, have your siblings, your brothers and sisters, if they'll be at Mass, watch it with you so they know what to expect. But I think that's pretty much it. It's crazy that our time together doing these videos is already over. It feels like it's been a very short period of time, even though it's been months and months. And if things were different, we would have already had our sacraments and you would be enjoying your summer without thinking about this stuff. But, here we are. If you have questions or concerns, then you leave me a note in Google Classroom or have your grown-up shoot me an email or give me a call, whatever you guys need. So I will be seeing you all very soon at penance first and then at communion. I'll be there for all of those, so look for me and know that I'm praying for you guys every day between now and then and well beyond that. Each one of your names is in the inside of my missal. Know that I pray for you all very often, but I'm saying special prayers for you for preparing for the sacraments and for receiving the sacraments. It's very exciting. So, okay, I think I've talked long enough. I will see you all at the sacraments soon. I'm praying for you. Stay well, and I'll see you then.